Today we're going to be trying to understand how memory works within AI, within the models and within the harnesses, and how all of these things are managed so we get the experience that we do. Firstly, you have to understand that the actual models have completely no memory. Every time that you reset the context with a model, you're essentially wiping its memory, kind of like the guy from Memento. He wakes up every morning, he can't remember anything, he has to figure out about his day based off what he's got for that day. That's exactly how AI models are working. Models can't remember anything, but they are trained on knowledge. So they have a subset of knowledge that they will know in their most primitive state. And as you're speaking with a model, you're building up more memory within a context window. So if we look here, we can see that this is the trained model knowledge. And then as we start talking to the model, it understands more about us, but only within this context window. So then we can do one or two things. We can reset the context window back to a clean slate and just to the model's default knowledge, or we can compact this context window down into a smaller context window so we can then keep going and it will have an idea of what we spoke about earlier, but not all of the details. So this allows AI to get an idea of what we're talking about, but it isn't perfect. Your harness is the thing that provides the bulk of memory management within AI. When you're speaking with like ChatGPT, it can remember quite a lot of things about you from previous times that you've spoken to it and different pieces of information that you've told it. And it has like a picture of who you are almost. And that's because the harness has a lot of magic underneath the hood that it's using. So the first one that we talked about is the model's default kind of. Then we have this memory.md, which is a file that a lot of harnesses are creating and editing to give like to give a picture of, to give a snapshot picture of who you are, some of your preferences. This can be updated as the model sees fit or as the harness sees fit, really. Then we have the context window, which we talked about. So this is the ongoing window of the conversation that you're in. All of this information is fed back to the model, so it understands it understands the chat that you're currently having. And the last one is a vector database. Now this is an interesting one, and this allows the harness to convert memories and be able to store them and have relations between memories in quite a cool way. So to explain vector databases a bit further, we have these 4 sentences here. So the first one is I like dogs. Now this will be stored probably somewhere up here. If you see it's 09.2 and then 081, we'll ignore the z-axis for now. So this would be somewhere around here. And then I love puppies is the next thing that you've said, a memory that you have. And that'll be probably somewhere around like here, maybe slightly like there. And then the next one, the car is fast. Now this doesn't have any relation to these two things. So the model would probably put it somewhere else and store that elsewhere because it's not really related in any sort of tangible way. There's probably correlations that you can make, but not really related. Now, when I ask the model after I've said these 3 things, what animals do I like? We can see that this is 088 and 078. So it's going to be somewhere around here. And then it can look at previous things in the area to get an idea of what I'm talking about. So all of these things are related to animals, and the model is able to store those things and have a correlation and a mapping. So that's a very basic overview of what a vector database is. And that's the short lesson today, guys. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something about understanding memory with AI and how harnesses are managing it. Cheers, and I'll see you later. Bye.